Salutations, special someones. Yeah, that works, special someones. So, yeah, salutations. Automatic here for Automatic Games. I just wanted to post up my monthly update for the Loco4Pack challenge. It's a few days late, and I hope you'll pardon me on that number. I also hope that you'll pardon the fact that I'm streaming this update, and I don't know if that's a faux pas or against the rules or whatever. But essentially, yeah, I'm just doing that because otherwise I would have to use Upload Studio. I can only record 10 minutes at a time with that. I would have to kind of, edit two segments together. And then in terms of my commentary, I would have to do it either afterwards through Audacity or record it through Audacity separate from the video and then edit that together. Suffice to say, this is just honestly the easiest way to do it. And so, yeah, seeing as it is the most efficient path toward getting this video out, I figured that is the path that I will take. As such, I won't be responding to chat or anything like that. Anyways, I want to take a moment and, of course, thank Gary for starting this challenge. It's been a lot of fun, and I've been enjoying everyone's videos, and I've been enjoying participating myself. Having said that, I've been a little late in responding to comments and posting comments on other people's videos, and it's not that I haven't been watching them. It's just I watch them in the playlist, and before I know it, the playlist is over, and I haven't commented on any of them yet. So anyways, all that aside, let's go ahead and get to the build at hand here. This character here is Drake at Mass, and he doesn't look how he did in the last update video. That's because obviously I'm in between updates, so this is, well, how he'll look in the next video. He's aged. He's gotten taller. And, yeah, I just wanted to take you through it. And, obviously, I'm not going to be doing the voice. When I started this, I knew that I'd be using children. And that's the way I went about doing it. I used Cheat Terminal just to adjust the size of the characters. And then, of course, I only recruited children. Any adults that came to my settlement, I sent them on to Sanctuary. I also didn't do a lot of scrapping here. Essentially because, I wanted it to kind of keep that look, maintain the look that it had. So there were a lot of things that I just didn't want to scrap. So most of my scrapping has been focused on, well, let's see, Sunshine Tidings, Sanctuary, Red Rocket, yeah, other settlements aside from this one. And I don't even have any trade lines opened up yet, so I've just been hauling the stuff back here. That's just kind of the way I've gone about doing it. And also, I've been staying away from, a lot of the story quests, essentially because I might use this character for Let's Plays or whatever when all this is said and done. And so there's a lot that I would want him to do. So leveling up has been a grind. To kind of speak to that fact, you can see that I am not at level 14. I know you were supposed to be at level 14 by the last update. I don't know if that was a maximum or what. You know what I mean? I guess what I'm saying is I don't know if being shy of that is acceptable, but indeed I was shy of that. So that's where I am. I'm level 13. And it kind of sucks. I wanted to be level 14 because, well, because there's a perk that I want to repair the stove, or actually replace the stove in Starlight and get it up and running again. In terms of perk chart, might as well show you what I've got there. Let's see. Got Armorer. Perception-wise, we've got a 4 perception, that's it. No perks there. Endurance is quite low. In fact, I don't think I took that into consideration. I'm going to have to do something about that. Charisma is kind of high. And you know why. You absolutely know why, because I had to get to local leader. And in fact, I guess it's local leader. Yeah, that's it. I gotta be level 14 to get that second rank in local leader. And again, I haven't done that yet. I've got Scrapper going on, because obviously that's helpful. Gun Nut, I mean, some of this is just preferential. It's perks that I wanted. Same can be said for Action Boy, right? And the character's, his birth name is Lucky. In the end, he's known as Drake at Mass, apparently a notorious Raider overboss. That's the end of his story. I don't know if we'll get there or if in the last update he'll take on that persona. Anyways, that does it for perks. This room here hasn't seen many changes. Essentially, it served as a bedroom for Amber, and it's no longer her bedroom, but for Amber and Damien. Damien was a little older. I tell you what, I've gotten some feedback that this particular story is awful dark, and it is. I'm well aware of that. I guess going into it, I knew that I'd be focusing on children at first, and I knew that in the end, the main guy, this guy, would end up being a raider. And I tell you what, there's no way to get from point A to point B in that tale, but to go dark. And I think it was Gary that said he half expected me to inject some humor into my particular updates, and I didn't. Not a whole lot, anyways. I guess calling the Dalmatian a damnation, because, well, shit, they don't know. It was about as close to humor as it got. You might also notice that there's no children anymore. That's because the kids are growing up. I haven't been doing this according to the clock in Fallout, or the calendar in Fallout. Really what I've been doing is where it stands right now, or at least in terms of the last update, I'm 2 years into their story. This is all kind of like a flashback. It's all a guy telling, how he came up. So I'm kind of stretching it out, perhaps over a decade, I don't know. This building wasn't here in the last update, so it's a WIP, work in progress for the next one, so I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler. This bridge obviously serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever. I just thought cosmetically, I kind of liked it. It looks rickety. Perhaps I should have done this video in the daytime, but I think the gloomy atmosphere only adds to the, I don't know, to the dismal nature of this community. But yeah, so it's, that building's not decorated at all or anything. Now this bus is supposed to represent the bus that's at the gate to Starlight. It was dragged over here via a tractor. A lot of the cars were moved around by the same working tractor. It houses a character named Hefty Satchel. That was already kind of mentioned, that the guy is a big kind of dumb guy named Hefty, and obviously that's, if you've watched my channel for some time, that's a nod to another one of my Raider builds. And so apparently this whole scene falls into his story at some point in his past. It's not really gonna gel together or whatever. The cage, I kind of discussed the cage. It's a dark story because it's Raiders. I guess it's one thing to go into Raider camp and see all these impaled bodies and kind of see the blood all over the place and the nasty disposition that they reside in. And it's another thing to have to tell that story, to have to actually explain away, why these bodies are impaled upon these poles. Did those victims have a choice? Did they have a chance? I feel like I need to explain all of that in this, so it's that lends itself to the darkness of it. Now, in terms of the workshop shed, not a lot has changed. I just really kind of ignored it. Next to it here, we've got, whose place was this? Marshall was his name. He was kind of an older guy, and so that's where he resides. I'm using junk walls for some of these builds, and just putting a roof on them and calling it a day, just because they are a lot more ragtag, and I think that's altogether appropriate, for this little club. I'll tell you what, I am gonna sleep. Might as well make it daytime here. I'll give it 12 hours. In the meantime, yeah, it's been kind of fun coming at this from the vantage point where you're watching these kids grow up. I enjoyed that, and much like real life, they kind of grew up too fast. And in terms of telling the story of a villain, that's been kind of interesting too, because, as stated, it's going to be dark. It's going to be very dark. Sometimes you give your character a motivation or some kind of sympathy, a sympathetic, I don't know what the word is, a sympathetic, for lack of a better word, a sympathetic position. In this case, I don't know. There is no sympathy for the main guy here. And in fact, I kind of anticipated the fact that his story would be so dark that I didn't want to narrate from his POV. So that is why I decided to narrate from the point of view of Green Thumb. Now, the dogs here, the Dalmatian or Damnation as they call it, and the other three, 3 of 4, no, actually 2 of 4 are Creation Club. This guy, this is actually the one that inspired me to do the dog thing. I think I got that Creation Club dog, the one in the doghouse, first. And then, dude, I forget the guy's name. He shows up at our gate virtually with this dog to sell me. And once I purchased that dog, in-game, I decided, well, hell yeah, let's just do a pack of dogs. So then I ran and got dog meat, and then of course I wanted to get the Dalmatian. And I think that Wolfgang just passed. There's something to him as well. You know what? Forget him. He's gone. Suffice to say, he is Wolfgang, and that's a name that perhaps you're familiar with, perhaps not. He's wrapped up in the Drumlin Diner, and I talk about how, as a child, he's friends with Trudy's son. That would be Patrick. Essentially, I think you know how that ends, or rather, you decide how that ends. Now, here's where Green Thumb was staying, and I kind of glitched this through the wall, only because your NPCs come over here, the scavengers, and they start working on this end of it. And the guy was kind of glitching through the wall, so I decided instead just to glitch the workbench, the scavenging bench, through the wall. That way it looked like he was repairing the exterior wall, and it just looked a lot better. Then again, I don't think I use that footage, and now that I look at this, I think that sleeping bag, that camouflage sleeping bag, is kind of hovering. But that's what you're going to get that with uneven ground. Either half the bag is going to be underground, or it's going to be floating there. Let's see what else. What else do we want to talk about? You know what? That's Green Thumb right there. Talk about muscles. All that gardening has helped him out. So yeah, all the children have pretty much matured into adults by the upcoming update. The next one, you'll see that. There's Hefty right there. The couch started out a plain couch, similar dimensions, and then I brought that one in because I figured that this community focuses on hunting quite a bit. I've tried my best to explain away a lot of these builds, credit whichever settler was responsible for building these additions or whatever. And let's see, of course you've got the commode, the restroom, simple people, simple methods for relieving themselves. Just those buckets, and still only 3. Initially there was 1 bucket per person, but now I guess they share buckets. I got into this competition a little late, and I was inspired. I'm just going to say it. I was inspired by JPEG. He said to me, and maybe he doesn't want this repeated, he said that he was kind of inspired by yours truly. Well, it's a 2-lane highway there, because watching his made me want to get into it. I realized, well, okay, this could be more of a role play than just a settlement build, and much to Loco4Pack's credit, he let that persist. So that's what got me interested. There's Harold's skull. Harold is supposedly the projector operator whose corpse was upstairs in this tower. These shutters, they were at different levels. I think most of them were open, but then I was able to grab them and lower them. I just wish that there were more, that there were some for these curved windows, because I'd like to have that going all the way around, though uniformity wouldn't necessarily complement the whole ragtag raider kind of village. I've tried to change the shelves as time has gone on. Some of the items have remained. Certainly, that's going to be the case, because, well, I overlooked some stuff. But I've tried to rearrange them as in-between updates, just to make it look like things are happening. Now, this thing's never moved, I don't think. Then, of course, there's this office that was in the last update, the second story build here. It was initially built for Lucky, which is Drake at Mass, same guy. But at this time, he's referred to as Lucky. Hence why his luck is through the roof. But nonetheless, this little office has been commandeered by Amber. I don't know if she's a significant other. You know, relationships are happening in this, and I haven't really explored that aspect of the tale. You can tell already. I mean, it's, you know, they're getting into chems. I think that's meat. Yeah, I think that's squirrel bits or something like that. She's got a human hand on her desk. And so, yeah, that's that. Got these swinging doors. Gotta credit JPEG again. Yeah, because when I was doing my Slocum's Joe build, he pointed out these doors, which I previously was unaware existed in game, so it's a good deal there, and much obliged. I guess this is just a little area where she can come out and warm her hands. I don't know. If you ask me, it's just a fire hazard. So then, of course, you've got the throne. And now, for a lot of these doors, right, I've not wanted to put hinged doors, because I just didn't think they were capable of it. Well, I don't know, they're capable of it, but at the same time, it's just a hell of a lot easier to hang curtains. So that's what they've done, and frankly, that's something I do in a lot of my builds. I only wish you could slide them open and shut. But that's what that is. Throne hasn't really changed since the update where Damien was in charge of this place. As you can see, it's got a good vantage point overlooking Eternal Damnation, the Cauldron. The cauldron surrounded by tires. I don't know what made me go there. I just knew, you know, like I said, people have kind of informed me, not that I needed to be told that the story is dark. And, yeah, so I decided, well, they're killing people. Might as well do it in some kind of elaborate fashion. And yeah, there was this distinction for the victims. If they had put up a fight, there was a little bit of admiration on the part of the community here. And as such, they would impale the fighters' heads on these poles. Creepy, I know. And that, you know, so apparently not too many people fought, but that is what is going on with those heads. And if they didn't fight, if they actually just submitted, then they'd know where that tire currently rests. And, you know, I also think I mentioned that they said sometimes the tires catch fire, but the tires don't melt. You know, I try to base things somewhat in a little bit of reality. You know, tire fires, tires don't melt. If you're ever interested, or if you feel like you want to dispute that fact, go ahead and look it up. Look up how they recycle tires and how much of a pain in the ass it actually is. I guess that's, you know, that's why race car drivers, that's why gearheads can burn rubber without literally burning the tires. They don't melt very easily. Anyways, that's enough about that. So in the altar, obviously, you know, they asked travelers for a sacrifice. I guess one notion that I didn't explore a whole lot, but a notion that would actually lighten it a little bit or make it a little less dark, and maybe that's why I didn't get into this, is obviously a traveler could pony up. They could lay a fair amount of caps on the altar and actually be free to go. The taxman cometh and goeth, you know, I mean, you can pay them off, and you don't have to jump in the cauldron. And after that, you're probably not going to frankly come this way anymore, right? So I'm trying to think if I missed anything here. I want to make sure I touch on everything. Oh yeah, the little gardener's place here. One weird thing is I have Green Thumb staying over there by where the dogs are, that little nook with a scavenging bench, but it would be a lot more logical if he stayed here. You know, I don't know. I just kind of overlooked that. You can see that they use the well, you know, that crib that was in that office under the projector screen, or rather behind it. And I thought, well, that's good. That could be a good melon catcher. It's even soft on the bottom, so the melons don't get bruised, huh? How about that? Anyhow, so that's where they keep their melons. They carve them up there. You still got the garden, which at this point only consists of melons and potatoes.
It's always good to have back.
There's Amber. I don't know why she's working there. When it comes to companions, you know, I guess they just do what they want, and that's what she is doing. And I'm trying to move around stuff. I'm sure a lot of you are. I've noticed that a lot of you are. I am too. That is the same cart that Lucky hauled in that big stone, which doubles as an altar in on. And now, of course, it's sitting over there by the garden. Rather than dispose of things, I've just tried to move them around. Just to give that sense that, you know, I don't know, that this is the same community anyways. And here, of course, is the tractor, Marshall's tractor, a working tractor. And if you think that that's unrealistic, then F off. Because Sturgis, listen to Sturgis next time you play. Talks about all the shit he can repair. And for God's sakes, they're repairing vertebrates. Now, I say all this, but I doubt any of you are saying that repairing a vehicle, a land-based vehicle, I doubt any of you are honestly thinking like, well, that's unrealistic. Because, yeah, you know what? It's certainly within Sturgis's wheelhouse. Not to say that we have him here, but what's to stop me from saying that Marshall is as talented or more talented than Sturgis? You know, come to think of it, doesn't Sturgis build a teleporter? So yeah, I think some folks are capable of repairing cars. I think the only reason we're not seeing moving cars that rests with Bethesda, not necessarily with us. Well, of course, you can also say it has something to do with the way they were powered. Big booms. But maybe that tractor's diesel. Who knows? So yeah, folks, I think that does it. Oh, one more change, and though this is not a big one. Oh yeah, all the skeletons are the same skeletons, but who am I to get rid of them? I certainly wouldn't want to. But this skeleton I added because that's supposed to be Damien's corpse. It's pretty much where he died. The car flipped over on its own. It was glitchy, so I decided to add that to some dialogue about how Damien, you know, told them to flip over the car or whatever. But yeah, lastly, you know, they're getting these shopping carts from Lexington, I suppose. With that bus gone, they decided to put that turret there inside the shopping cart. You see that in Raider builds, so it seemed appropriate. So yeah, I'm trying to think what else I need to convey to you in this particular video. You know, like I said, level 13, so I'm a little behind the flock. I will try to catch up. You know, I can no promises though. You know, as stated, I'm trying to stay away from most of the story missions. I haven't gone to Concord. I haven't helped Preston. I have gone to Diamond City. In fact, let's see where I've been. So you can see the kind of limit of my scope, and it has been limited. You can see how I made my way to Diamond City, but that is actually not always apparent because one of those dogs was down about here. The thing is, I wanted to steer clear of any map markers, essentially just to stay out of trouble. And I died several times trying to do that, but you know, they spawn those Creation Club dogs wherever. Another one was right here, and I was damn well surprised that I didn't unlock more map markers all the way there, but I did not. I have no way of proving to you that I haven't used Cheat Terminal in that fashion. I guess you'll just have to take my word for it, but it is true. I have only used that for cosmetic crap, making these kids taller or shorter, and certainly costumes, right? I don't think Gary would be offended that I I am cheating using mods to bring in these costumes because, frankly, I wanted these people to be primitive, savages, if you will. But seeing as it doesn't necessarily, it doesn't benefit the settlement in any way, shape, or form, it is my assumption that Loco4Pack would be okay with that. Oh, there he is. There he is. This will about do it for the video, but there's Wolfgang, all grown up.
Need to get back to
It doesn't quite look as old as he does when you encounter him at Drumlin, and he has yet to meet, who's the girl that's with him there at Drumlin? Simone. So I don't know how I'll weave her into the story. Hey, if you have any suggestions on that number, throw it in the comments. I mean, she should be part of this community, or... You know, funny thing about him is he's in road leathers. So he kind of stands out from the rest of the group. He's obviously not wearing mole rat hide or whatever hide that these folks are wearing. Anyways, that'll about do it. I think I've covered most of my bases. I look forward to watching the next batch of updates up around the corner. Oh, yeah, and you can see my settlement recruitment beacon up there. I kind of wanted to hide it. I guess I didn't hide it since it's right there on the horizon line, but nonetheless, it's out of the way. Oh, and that's Emma. That's Emma. That was Green Thumb's gal. Now, last thing I'll mention in this update, before I close out, is I am kind of, I have offered, and the offer stands. If any of you, and I don't know why you would, but if you're role-playing, and any of you need voice acting for your role-play, again, I don't know why you would, because a lot of it's just, you know, like first-person narration. But if that should come to pass, let me know. And one of the reasons I offer is because I'm going to be soliciting. I will need a voice actor or two. It's really not a lot of dialogue at all, but if anybody's interested, I'm looking for a couple lines of dialogue for 2 different characters. Anyways, hey, I hope everybody's having fun with this update series. I will get on it in terms of the comments. I've just been really busy lately, so I do hope you'll pardon me. Big thanks to Gary for thinking up this challenge and presenting it to us. And frankly, it is not lost on me the work that he has put into this. You know, like I said, I'm falling behind on just commenting the stuff that Gary's been doing. You know, doing these playlists. Doing update videos that are separate from the update videos that he's doing for his role in this challenge. You know, the updates like hey folks, it's monthly update time and that kind of stuff. You know, the guy is actually putting in a fair amount of work here, and I think he deserves some credit for having done that. So, folks, that'll about do it for me. I hope you've enjoyed. Again, I apologize for streaming this, but it's what I had to do. Thank you for watching. This has been Automatic for Automatic Games. If you are subscribed, I will talk to you soon, friends. Bye now.